Welcome back to our series on modern learning plans. Today's focus is on an increasingly popular tool in the world of learning and development, podcasts. We'll delve into the science behind their effectiveness, explore various scenarios where they excel, and provide some real practical tips for creating and integrating podcasts into workplace learning. At this point, I think it's fair to say podcasts are more than just a trend. They're here to stay, and it's time for us to embrace them when it comes to workplace learning. On top of that, they're backed by sound educational principles. The theory of situated cognition, for instance, suggests that learning is more effective when it's part of our daily activities. The same is true in the workplace. Podcasts fit this theory perfectly, as they can be consumed during everyday tasks, be them tasks at home or tasks in the workplace, making learning a seamless part of our working lives. Additionally, the theories around multimedia learning laid out by Mayer emphasise the importance of auditory information in complementing visual learning. Now, while podcasts are purely auditory, they do engage the learner's imagination and conceptual understanding, leading to a different yet impactful learning experience. Plus, there is nothing preventing us linking a podcast to other resources to make that kind of auditory and visual combination that Mayer found to be so effective. Podcasts can be leveraged in various learning scenarios, but there are a few that I always like to consider. First up, professional development. This is always a tricky area because it's a bit ephemeral, it's a bit up to the user. In this, podcasts are ideal for keeping up with industry trends and insights. Regular podcast listening can foster continual professional growth, again leading into that sort of culture of the forever learner that we're always pursuing in L&D. This is also a great place where you don't have to create all the content. You can just curate from the thousands, tens of thousands if we're honest, podcasts already out there. Soft skills development is another area podcasts excel, especially in areas like communication, leadership, and emotional intelligence. Through interviews and storytelling, they provide real-world contexts and experiences that other modalities can really struggle to portray. Another area where I've started to reach for podcasts in the last couple of years are compliance policy and updates. I use podcasts to update employees on company policies or compliance matters. The conversational tone can make dense information much more digestible and get people to engage with topics they might otherwise completely ignore. Technical skills and updates kind of falls into this same bracket. For more technical roles, podcasts can be disseminated for updates on new technologies or techniques, making complex information more accessible. A good example of this right now is the move a lot of businesses are making from Windows 10 to Windows 11. It's not an earth-shattering change, and it's not necessarily all designed by the business, but giving people little hints and tips about what's new and what they can and can't use is really helpful. Next up, we're going to look at my top tips for crafting effective podcasts for workplace learning. But first, a quick message from the sponsor of this series. iSpring is an e-learning software provider dedicated to streamlining e-learning worldwide. With a team of top industry specialists, they create tools that make e-learning both efficient and enjoyable. Their AI-powered course creation tool, iSpring Suite, and the iSpring Learn LMS are the top choices for thousands of instructional designers, L&D pros, and content developers. Crafted with the user workflow in mind, iSpring ensures a seamless experience for the creation of impactful learning content. Their website, iSpringSolutions.com, offers a treasure trove of e-learning resources perfect for those seeking to boost their L&D career or elevate their organization's e-learning practices. You can check out the iSpring Solutions website using the link in the description below. So when it comes to crafting effective podcasts for workplace learning, it's all about capturing and retaining attention, and that requires thoughtful planning. First up, let's talk about content structuring. Each episode should have a clear objective and flow. You cannot try and cover multiple objectives in a single podcast. You need to be precise. Start with an engaging introduction, and that means context. What you're talking about needs to be immediately relevant. Then delve into the main content with structured segments, taking the learner through point by point. Conclude with actionable takeaways. This is essential if you want them to come back. They need to put down whatever they're listening on, take their headphones out, put their phone away, and have something they can go and do. Something they couldn't do before, or something they can now do better. Don't do it in the first episode, they'll never come back for episode 2. Next up, invest in audio quality. Now, this doesn't mean money, this could be time, effort, energy, whatever, but if you've got money, this is where it should go as well. Excellent sound quality is non-negotiable. Use a good microphone and editing software to ensure clarity and professionalism, but remember, when it comes to podcasts, if you record rubbish, you'll end up with rubbish. Record somewhere quiet, take multiple takes, use the best of everything that you have. Though inherently non-visual, podcasts can still be interactive. It's essential that you encourage learners to participate in exercises, reflect on questions, or engage in further research or reading. You can also use podcasts to tee up roundtables or webinars or upcoming workshops. It's essential that you have this interactive element in every episode to ensure that everything you're covering in the podcast translates to real-world activity. On the note of format and activity, it's important that you don't just stick to the same thing all the time. Now, you want some level of consistency, but that doesn't mean that all your podcasts in the business have to be identical. So, experiment with different formats. Take interviews, panel discussions, solo narratives. Use these to cater to the right topic in the right modality at the right time and keep your content fresh. Finally, regular release schedule. These are the 3 most important words when it comes to getting a workplace podcast off the ground. Consistency is key. A regular release schedule keeps listeners engaged and anticipating the next episode. This is vital if you want to see this be successful in the long term. So once you've decided what you're going to create and you've recorded your first episodes, you're ready to go, let's think a little bit about how we integrate podcasts into our wider learning strategy or ecosystem. Incorporating podcasts into your learning strategy can amplify impact. It largely does this by complementing other learning materials. Podcasts can be used alongside pretty much anything else, offering a different medium to reinforce concepts or teeing up things that you're about to cover. It can also be used as a demonstration piece or worked examples for a topic covered or about to be covered that you want to expand upon further, or allow learners to explore the nuance outside of the norm. Podcasts can also be great at creating learning communities. Encourage discussions about podcast topics in your communities or social media groups or Yammer, whatever you've got, it doesn't matter. It's going to enhance understanding through shared insight and perspective, really leaning into the most basic forms of social learning. It's also worth thinking about assessment and feedback. Now, obviously, you can't put a quiz in the podcast. Well, you can, but obviously you can't get them to answer immediately, you can't mark it. It doesn't really work, but that doesn't mean you can't do anything. In actual fact, you could very easily pair up a podcast with a feedback form. A podcast with a link directly to a quiz that you're going to talk about in the next episode. Maybe you add some level of competition to it. Whoever gets the most will get a shout out on the podcast. Whatever works for you, but make that link. Make that link between what they've just listened to and a real-world assessment or feedback-based activity. So, podcasts for workplace learning. They can be a highly effective tool when used correctly and when of sufficient quality. Remember, there are so many podcasts out there that if you want people to choose to listen to yours, it's got to be good. It's got to be relevant. It's got to be somewhat enjoyable or useful to engage with. So that link to real-world activity, that ability to do something that you couldn't do before or do something better, is really essential at the end of every single episode. So, powerful but high stakes if you get it wrong, is how I would describe the podcasting modality today. This is a modality that not long ago we wouldn't even be talking about, so it's worth considering the fact that this is going to evolve rapidly over the coming years. I'd love to know down in the comments if you've used podcasts in your workplace learning plans already, and if it's something you would consider in the future. If you've already done it, what tips would you share? And if you haven't, what's holding you back? What do you need to hit the button and launch your first workplace learning podcast? I hope you found this video useful. Please do engage down in the comments, hit the like button, and share this video if you think it'll be helpful for a colleague.